Shorewood Park Sanitary District meeting for June 2nd, 2026. I'll start with roll call. I'm Rich Stork, I'm the chairperson.
Dean Fidel, treasurer.
Matt Anderson, vice chair.
Sue Means, board member.
Tina Heidelberger, clerk.
And absent tonight is Al Powers. Okay, so I wasn't here last week, but I kind of went through the minutes. Hopefully everybody else had a second to kind of go over them. Is there any corrections or concerns or anything that needed to be updated on the unapproved minutes? If not, I will probably look for a motion to approve the minutes for Tuesday, May 5th.
I guess I just saw that you're showing as an attendee.
Okay, well, where did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
At the time.
Okay, yeah. So we'll make sure that we note that Rich Stork was absent. And I did give an update, via text. I don't know who provided that, but I think we can keep that information in there.
I think all of the attendees are from April.
Pardon me?
Were you not here last month? Oh, so I must have missed that, okay. I'll have to look at the meeting sign-in from last month. So I'll make a correction to that.
Okay, so we need to correct the attendees.
Yep.
Yep, it looks like, I think from there, Matt called the meeting to order, so it's probably live from there. All right, so I won't look for a motion to approve the minutes until they're corrected. We'll live with the unapproved minutes, or are you gonna send them out during the month?
I'll send them out tonight,
Okay,
but we won't be able to sign them until next month.
very good. All right, we'll move right into Terry with the wastewater operator update for the month of May.
Total for the month we flowed was 346,890 gallons with a daily average of 11,190. The high was on the 11th, the low was on the 28th.
What was the high?
The 11th,
What was
like
it?
14,750 and 90.50 on the 20th.
Okay, and what was the average again? I'm sorry.
11,190.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Discharge last month, that went good. Transferred over ponds, so good.
We got lots of room for the summer.
Got lots of room for the summer, yeah.
Okay, good.
Ponds in pretty good shape. Nothing out of the ordinary.
How was since we updated our discharge point into that creek, how does that look? Since we
Good.
cleaned that up last year?
Yep, cleaned it all up and it flows in against the stream and then comes back against it also.
Okay,
There was a bunch of trees in the way and stuff down there. We cleaned all that up and dressed it up, so.
all right. So we should be good and not too concerned about erosion or anything?
No, we put 2 scoops of trap rock down there at the end of it.
Okay.
Even on a good flow back there, it ain't gonna go anywhere, so.
All right. As I dissected the permit, that was one of the points.
Yep, on the discharge, yeah.
On the
Yeah, there was some light reading in that thing. Jeez.
Yeah, so that's one of the things we're gonna go over, and I'll try to just hit the highlights tonight. Anything else?
Did some cameraing, when we looked for that one house down there on the lower level. Found that, and then we cameraed the whole line down there looking for inflow. Nothing down there,
Okay.
so.
All right, so we'll keep record of that.
Yep,
That'll be something else that I'll touch base on this permit.
for the permit, yeah, that's what, we'll keep record of that, and, looks like a pretty good chance of rain coming now again, so we're gonna dive right in again and try to find some. We were down checking the pumps and stuff, and I got a rough price from Quality Flow to rebuild these things if the expansion goes through, the pumps. both, replace both lift stations, new rails, new valves, new panel, everything new in the main one, and then the secondary one, new pumps and a new panel on that, about 150, between 150 and 175,000.
Okay, did you get that quote in writing?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll get it.
if you can forward that on for record, we'll kind of hang on to that just in
Yep.
case, so we have that information.
Terry, I'm sorry, can you, so it was replacing or updating the pumps, the boards you said?
Pumps, yeah, the panels,
Okay,
new rails, piping, valves, basically everything.
So
inside.
basically, it's rebuilding both existing lift stations. And that would be the internals and then the control boards. I think will probably be the easiest way to explain it. So it's updating it and updating technology. That doesn't seem too far. I mean, it seems pretty reasonable to me myself.
Yeah, the last one we did on Cross Lake was like 85 or 87,000, and that was 4 years ago. And that was just one lift station, so.
And this is needed for the expansion, or is it also needed?
Well,
as
I mean,
time, or-
they work fine.
Okay,
Yeah, there's nothing that's
oh,
It's just
needs
that
to be, yeah.
it's old technology. If we update them, we can be more efficient and they'll run less, take up less electricity. These are just, so it's like capital improvements, right? Eventually, they're gonna have to be replaced. Go ahead.
That's what the expansion money.
Well, that's basically, we're looking for a bid in case we'd ever have to upgrade them. I think it's something that we need to talk about for capital improvements one way or the other, if the expansion goes or doesn't go. There's just talk of, if the expansion goes, can we make that part of the improvements during the expansion? So I asked Terry to get some quotes. Regardless, we need to have that ammo one way or the other if we start to budget for the future to replace them. You know, if we had enough funds to replace them. Or if one was to fail and something happened. If one of those boards went out, it's harder and harder to get the pieces and parts right now. I mean, we had an issue last year. He was able to find parts for it. I think we can still boneyard piece it together and make it work because it's all basically old relay technology type, you know, hard start on the pumps, no drives.
This VFDs would be fantastic, and that was new VFDs on it too, so it's just, it increased the life of the pump so much that.
That's exactly it. It runs, when you have a drive on a pump, you probably understand that. It increases the life of a pump. It doesn't, the electronics or the electricity within inside the pump, it wears and tears on the bearings. And if you have drives, that protects against that, then the pumps and the motors last a lot longer. So there is a definite payback in putting drives on. And there are rebates, in fact, for putting drives on. And it's less electricity. So there's a lot of positives there. So one way or the other, expansion or not, we would look in the future to, if it's one at a time, I would probably tackle the main pump station first because that takes the biggest abuse. You mentioned that one of the things that I dealt with this month was that new resident down on Lakeview Drive. They're going to start building. We did give them permission to go ahead and build and hook up to the sanitary. There was an existing stub up in that property.
Yep.
Yep. That was confirmed to me before you went and looked at it by Mr. Vidger, who was on the board before, because he was part of capping it when they took that cabin down. So there was one there, and then that gave them the information they needed for their well then, right? Because they got to
Yep.
drive a well.
Yep.
Okay. There was communication with him this last month. It sounds like they're going to be starting construction in
July?
July. But we did talk about keeping us involved, and when it comes to the point of tying into our system, he's going to make sure that he, includes us on that. I think his name is James.
Yeah, I think this was, yeah.
So they'll keep us totally involved with that whole thing. So sounds like he's ready to go based on what the information that we gave him. Was there anything else, Terry, you wanted to report?
I think that's it. We'll get down and do some more investigative work here once we get some more rain again, but there's a constant flow that comes in from down by the channel. It's just never ends, never changes.
So it sounds like somewhere between that last run towards the,
That's the last run, yeah, from the manhill down at the bottom of the hill, coming down, across there somewhere by the channel, there's something in there.
well, and funny, that's our lowest point.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. I would imagine if we watch it and see it, I mean, there's solutions right down to lining that
Mm-hmm.
run would probably be the easiest fix if
Yep.
we had to fix that line.
Yep, and I'm doubting, because the lines themselves all look good, it's a connection somewhere.
Okay.
It's a connection or it's a service line going to one of the houses.
So it's
And it explains all the sand that we have down there all the time.
so it potentially could be a main drain,
Yeah, yeah,
like the one we found before.
yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll keep looking at that. That's going to be part of the discussion with the permit. That's one of the big to-dos that we have to do with this permit that I handed out to everybody. All right, I'll move right on to chairman updates. As you can hear, Terry and I did communicate on a few things this last month. A lot of conversation and getting prepped for the bonding bill and seeing what was gonna happen with the bonding bill. And as everybody did hear, there are some funds. Our ask was approved and it became part of the bonding bill. I'll just back off and let Dean take that on and kind of explain to what we do know at this point, which isn't a lot, other than it's been approved. But I'll let him talk to you about, where that sits. So as far as the federal money, there hasn't been much done with that at this point. We're kind of waiting to see what funds did come. And then we'll kind of develop a plan from there. One thing that did happen was we did have to update our registration with the SAM.gov portal. When you're an entity like us asking for funds and stuff, that has to be updated and kept up to date every year. And I lean on Chris Ziegler with MAP, he keeps that updated. So there was some communication back and forth with Chris and I to make sure that that's updated, to make sure we're still in the game with the government, with the feds. Let's see what else is here. All right, with the permits, that was reissued to us, not last month, but the month before. I did reach out just recently and I shared some emails with everybody to HR Green, looking for some guidance and to try to set up a meeting with what the next step is, referring to our permit and the action items that we have to take and complete as per this new permit, which is good for 5 years. And it is time sensitive. We do have to report back to them on some issues, and I'll go over that here on the agenda here under new business, or old business here. We'll go through the permit. We're not going to go through the whole thing today, but I'll just hit some highlights so everybody is aware of some of our action items. So we'll circle back to that. All right, with that, that's pretty much what happened this month with the chairman update. So I think it's time to move on to finance.
Current checking account balance as of today was $134,693.46. We have an investment fund balance of $230,632.64. Our current bills for the month are East Central Energy at $196.87, LJJ $1,700, MTVL, which is our testing when we send in water samples, that was $163.25, and Rasmussen for the month of May was $1,342.23. Is there any Need a motion to approve those bills?
First motion.
Can I get a second?
Oh, second.
All in favor of accepting the bills as read?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, I think then we'll move right into what information we have about the expansion. I'll let Dean take that and back him up when he needs it.
Okay, the expansion group has secured $820,000 from the state bonding bill this year. This will cover the 20% match needed for the $1.9 million federal grant. The state will be selling the bonds this summer. I'm not sure what time frame that'll be. At that time, we'll be informed more as to how to access the money for our project. And we'll also be contacting H.R. Green, our engineer, to finish the federal EPA paperwork, and the engineering also. We will also be contacting a lawyer group to give us guidance on the legal aspects. In the next few months, we should have more information. And then just wondering if we should probably have another Zoom meeting with Chris from MAP and P1 from our EPA in the near future.
Yeah, I think we should. I don't know if you've seen the email today, late today, I shot off to HR Green. I did reach out to Jackie and the team. I think Jackie is still on leave, but William Lewick from HR Green did reach back to me and said, yes, it's time to meet and discuss. The email that I shot out today kind of covered a few things, so I'll read to you guys what I did shoot off that email, but it's time to get HR Green engaged on a few things. I'll read the email, kind of let you know what I'm looking at. We need to set up a meeting to discuss and get budgets for several projects. We have been issued our new permit. We have several action items that we will need assistance with that will need to be discussed, created, and completed. Some of these we can do ourselves, but I would like a plan from HR Green, so we do get it, a good solid plan that we can write a report and give back the MPCA, because that's what they're asking for, okay? I think it'll hold more, hold water better if we utilize an engineering company. Quite frankly, we'd be guessing on what we're trying to put together. So we'll reach out to them for that assistance, and with the assistance of Terry, that'll give us guidance on what we have to do on the items and action items on this permit. Again, the state of Minnesota the second item I had on there, the state of Minnesota did include the SPSD, Shorewood Park Sanitary District, in the bonding bill. We will need direction and assistance with acquiring those funds tied to the possible expansion. So again, we'll need guidance on that also. The federal grant action items that have been holding us up to receive those funds, if approved. So that's the other issue or guidance we need from HR Green. I think the two will tie together. The information we get out of one, they can kind of work those numbers together, will help us get through the federal approval and whatever we have to do for the state approval and acquiring those funds. So this, this is just a broad brush currently. The hottest item is number one. I think this board right now needs to concentrate on shoring up this permit and taking care of those action items. I think as a board we'll be concentrating on that number one. And I think those items that we have to get done, we should be able to get done within the next 30 to 60 days. As per the permit, some of these action items have to be done within 180 days, which is 6 months of the assurance or reassurance of this permit, and we've already passed 40 days. So we're down to 120 days that we have to get this information off to the MPCA to comply with our new permit. So that'll be, the number one thing that I'll be asking of HR Green. That will cost us money for them to help us. So my first ask is for them to give us a budget of what it's gonna take to do that and what their deliverables will be to meet this. So, I think we'll work on that hard this month, pay attention to emails, and I'll try to set up a separate meeting with them, I don't know, via Zoom, or a second meeting here, if it has to be a special meeting just for that. That'll be number one on, of the completion list. And then I'll start approaching them, or let Dean approach them on what the steps are gonna be for the expansion. And then that may be a separate meeting, or I don't want them to tie together. I really want to take care of the permit first, because without the permit, the expansion is nothing. So I think the number one thing for sure is to take care of the permit.
And the permit has to be renewed if the expansion goes.
That's part of the one thing that, yeah, and that's a good point. In the permit, if there is going to be an expansion, we have to apply for another permit just for the expansion, which then would probably change what we have for a permit. So depending on what they write on that expansion permit, who knows? They could be asking for bigger and better or more. We don't know based on this permit that we have here. Reading between the lines on this permit, they have some concerns with how much influent or water, wastewater, or regular water, which is going to our ponds. So I think they're concerned with volume that's heading over that direction. Hence the I&I reduction plan that we have to put together.
Yeah, if that's addressed, I think that the rest of it falls into place, because then you eliminated, capacity big time
Yeah.
by actually utilizing more than what's just coming in, so.
Right. So, we have to we got to get the existing system working correctly, I think, before we can start pushing on, expanding more fluids, or if effluent or influent over towards those ponds.
And it's working correctly, just
Yeah.
more efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's the information we have on the expansion right now. We're waiting for more information. We are gonna start pushing some more buttons for some more help here. And we'll update people as it comes, because there's been a lot of questions. All right, so the next thing on here is old business is the permit renewal or the reassurance. So this is a 33-page document, and there's a lot of information in here. It does describe a lot of what Terry has to do to comply with the testing, where he has to test, how often, discharging, so on and so forth. And then the process of reporting for that. I don't think that's changed much from what our past permit was. There has been some additional treatments, I think, that we do have to apply, and we've talked about that. And that's, we have to account for nitrogen. I don't know if we have to do anything different for that, but the big one is the phosphorus and what we have to do to treat for phosphorus. So we do know we have to treat for phosphorus. But the other big action item that we have in here is an I&I reduction plan, which has to be a written report that we provide to the MPCA, and we have to put that plan together. So, I could go through this. It does go, I did provide all you guys a copy. I did print out a brand new copy and posted it in the pump house. I think I asked Matthew to find a page for it.
It's on the website.
For people to go through it on the web page, because it is public and they can kind of go through it and understand what we're talking about. But I'm just gonna go, just some highlights within the permit that we should probably cover today, I think is, I'll just read the cover page. The state of Minnesota, on behalf of its citizens, through the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, the MPCA, authorized the permittee to operate a disposal system at the facility named above, and to discharge from this facility to the receiving waters named above in accordance with the requirements of this permit. Basically, they're stating Shorewood Park Sanitary District. They're kind of stating what ditch our wastewater goes to, and kind of explains just in general what it is. I'll just hit some highlights here. Changes to the facility may result in an increased pollutant loading to surface waters or other causes of degradation of surface water. Basically, it's saying the changes to this facility are subject to additional requirements found in, it states a bunch of state statutes. Basically stating in here, if we change the facility, we have to go out and ask for a permit to change it. In section 5.3.4, the permittee shall install and maintain the outlet protection measures at the discharge station. That's why I asked about that. So we're at our discharge point. We got to make sure that it's, we're not eroding anything. It gets into the phosphorus limits and what we have to do to maintain certain amount of phosphorus. It gets into nitrogen limits, what we have to do there. The big thing is in 5.5, inflow and infiltration. The permittee shall submit an inflow and infiltration and I&I reduction plan due by 180 days after the permit issuance, detailing its efforts to identify and reduce sources of I&I to its collection and treatment system. So basically, it's given us 6 months to give them a reduction plan from April 17th. So, like I said, we're already 40 days into this. We've got about 120 days to get them this information. At a minimum, this plan should include a discussion of the following. The permittee's current policy ordinance concerning the connection of floor drains, sump pumps, roof leaders, etc. from building connected to the system. We talk about this all the time, and that's not permitted. How the permittee assures compliance with this policy. So we do have to come up with some sort of a written plan to take care of that. A description of past efforts by the permittee to identify and eliminate sources of I&I, such as sanitary sewer evaluation. We're doing that now currently, and rehabilitation to our existing infrastructure. A description of future efforts that we will initiate to identify and eliminate sources. The permittee shall implement the inflow, I'll just say the I&I reduction plan within 1 year of the insurance. So basically we write a report, and then within a year we got to start implementing it. And again, a lot of these steps we've already started, so I think it's just basically asking for the help to write it by H&R agreement. The permittee shall submit an inflow I&I reduction plan effectiveness report due 730 days after the permit insurance. So they're giving us time to see what kind of improvements we have. So, we gotta, somehow monitor what we're doing and show an improvement for this permit. Again, the permittee shall require obtain sanitary sewer extension permits from the MPC for any addition, extension, or replacement to the sanitary sewer. So, depending on if we do repair something, we have to pull up a pipe and replace it. It sounds like we have to do some sort of a permit with them or let them know that we're repairing. If we do an expansion, we have to let them know that also. What I don't know is additional single homes, is that considered an addition?
Not with an existing system, I would think.
So, I mean, that
Like that one that's adding on, there's already stuff there, so I would not consider that a new one.
No, it was basically one was removed and we're
Yeah.
just replacing
Yeah.
it. Okay. And that'll be a question that I ask HR Green to make sure that we're covered. Basically, it does say in here, if the permittee chooses to meet operator certification requirements through a contractual agreement to Terry, we do have to provide them our contract between us and Terry. That'll be something else that we have to dig up. I don't know, you may have submitted that when you took over at the time, right?
Yeah.
Goes on your pond observation. We have to look at that pond frequently, once a week. Do a visual observation. These are some of the things.
Which we're doing now, so there's a lot of stuff in it that's already currently being done, but they actually pointed it out in the front. And they will permit that the same verbiage, so.
Yeah, you just have to have it in writing.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have to, some sort of a written report that you provide with the DNRs, right?
yeah.
All right. I think that were kind of the highlights. If you zoom right back to like this section 6, it kind of outlines exactly what we have to do. I just wanted to touch base on it tonight and bring you guys up to speed.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Make sure that you have a copy of it and get it out and let everybody know that it is on the web page. All right. That's what I know about permit renewal. We got a little bit of work to do with that. Old business. Who wants to take the speed bumps in the survey of the road? Anybody? Al's not here tonight. I can tell you what I know. I think we purchased or leased 4 speed bumps. One was installed and removed. Basically, I'm just going to call it a stole. So if anybody has that, if they return that to it, that'd be greatly appreciated. Everybody here did pay for that. That's the speed bumps. They're installed as per, our ordinance or our motion put together over a year ago. Road survey, it looks like the roads were repaired as per our contract with Premier. This is sections that I've seen. I think, I'm okay with the work that they've done. Has anybody heard any other concerns about the replacement of asphalt or tarring? I haven't heard anything. That's all I got. That's a full business.
I had a neighbor comment that they thought it would be a good idea to have a speed bump. Now you come in and there's a sign that says speed bumps, speed, whatever, and then shortly before you get rolling down Shorewood Drive, the main stretch there, to have one just to show that, yes, there are speed. I don't know what to, or do we want to just have them willy-nilly and then people will. It is the thought to move them around so that it doesn't get complacent.
I did get feedback this weekend
Oh,
from
okay.
people at church, because there's quite a few people at our church that live in our neighborhood.
Oh,
And the feedback was not positive, I'll be honest. So, they live on the other part, like down where Sirens would be, so.
Oh, okay.
So do they go over the speed bumps?
Where they live, specifically, they don't really have to go over that. They go out the other way, so. And then the people on the other end that have commented, just, their feedback was that they don't feel like speed bumps are going to be effective. So, and some of them are moving, so that they're, I said, we'll come to a meeting, and they're like, well, we're moving, so. It's kind of a moot point now, but I mean, there's just frustration that they have with it, so.
All right, I've thought about this. I've heard a lot of different things. This is my point of view on how we should approach the speed bumps. Speed bumps are a toxic an issue no matter where they're put. People like them, don't like them, why they're there, why they're not there. Everybody has a comment on them. But they don't want to, they don't want to say anything until they're there, right? So we've been talking about these speed bumps for over a year. We've talked about it. We made a motion and we passed a motion to solve an issue of speeding throughout the neighborhood. Now, I think the best way to keep approaching this is if all we can do is the people coming to us and talking is just noise. The proper procedure is to give us something in writing that they don't like the speed bumps. When we passed it, we had a group of maybe 10 to 15 people in here, and it passed by majority. Now, I'm willing to, listen to a survey. If somebody wants to take a survey and get a signed petition, and we come up with a majority of the people say remove the speed bumps, then maybe we have to remove the speed bumps. But, we meet once a month. Now, the speed bumps are there. If they want the speed bumps removed, there'll be a process to remove them. And until that process is met, they're going to stay. I think that's the way that we have to approach them. Does anybody else have an issue with that at this particular point? Because right now, it's just rumors, and some people like them, some people don't. It's hard for us to count, we need to count. If something's, I'm not going to go around and do a survey, and I'm not going to do a petition, but if somebody wants to put together a petition and give me a bunch of signed names and addresses, and it's a majority, I think we can approach it at that point to either remove the speed bumps. But I think we brought attention to the problem that we've had.
We did, but I'll say the one thing, just last night, when I was driving home, there was a under 2-year-old, I cannot believe that kid was more than 2, out on a scooter, not right in front of his house, riding by himself. It doesn't matter how many speed bumps you put in place, if people do not watch their children, the street is not for them to be playing in. I get it that it should be safe. I get it that, you don't want to have people speeding so that if a ball rolls and a kid goes after it, like stuff like that happens. I get that. But letting your small children play in the road is not a good idea. Like that's going to put somebody else in a really bad situation that shouldn't be. Like, that's just, it should be common sense to not let your child that small play in the road. So that frustrates me that that's still happening, because I don't care how many speed bumps you have.
No,
It's just,
well, and we're not going to solve that problem. As a community, that's a tough one to solve. But it was not only the kids, it was the walkers. We all experienced the issue with the speed, and that was our solution back then. Again, if we get some more feedback on it, I'm willing to listen. I think we're all willing to listen as a community, and even listen for other solutions for the speed. And maybe this was the solution. Maybe some people will abide by it. I find the speed bumps annoying too. So.
Can I just interject here?
Sure.
Can I ask why they're annoying?
Yeah, that's what I was
Right
just
here.
thinking.
I find people are picking up speed after, now, by the time they go over the one that's down from my house, they're picking up speed, they're going faster than they were before.
Is that just a I'll show you thing or
Yeah,
what?
it's whatever, how they feel about it.
They don't bother me. I don't know, of course I don't drive over one every day, but, I'm not on a freeway. I don't
The
care
people that
I
do go
slow
back
down.
and forth multiple times
it is annoying.
for business, for work, for kids and activities, it's gotta be annoying. I see the one got removed on that far side, because there was 2. So then I felt people were coming more down the side I live on to avoid hitting 2 of them versus 1 of them. And now if you're hitting the one and they're picking up speed, they're going right by the house where kids are living. Is there one on the far end? Like
No,
going
but
from
the
my
other
house
thing too is they don't,
down to you guys?
I was disappointed with the size of them. I'll be
Yeah.
really honest, when I saw it, I was like, they look like something on Temu. They were, like, it doesn't even cover the road. They're not, if we're gonna put a speed bump in, you have to have it cover the road. Because now everybody can just drive around them. Like, and it doesn't. They literally look like something that I was not impressed with the quality of them, I'll say. Like, they definitely look like a removable speed bump.
And that's what we purchased.
Yeah.
So, and they do need to be
But they're just,
Nice
they're
if both
small.
wheels went over it instead of one, you know, it feels weird.
Well,
It's just my observation.
I mean, it sounds like we're in an experimental type thing, but, again, you know, I think we need more feedback, and I think we need written feedback. Because we tried to solve the problem, and apparently we didn't do a good job solving the problem. And it sounds good until you put something in practice, but, I'm willing to listen. I don't know what to do with it myself.
Is there any ability for us to be able to involve the Chisago County Police Department?
No.
On our roads?
It's a private road.
Private.
Yeah,
There's nothing that we can grant them access or?
no. I'll, just my spiel, because this is right up my road, up my alley, because I'm chairman of the board for Kegma Township. We have 2 lakes we deal with. And as long as I'm on watch and I'm chairman of the board, we'll never put another speed limit sign because nobody weighs them. We've tried everything possible under God's green earth, and then we've been threatened multiple times, you're gonna have blood on your hands for some kid getting hit. Nothing's happened yet, and it's always the people, that friends that come up on the weekend that do it. It's people, it's not it's not your neighbors, it's not none of them that are speeding, it's the people that come up on the weekends, they're visiting and stuff, because they say, we don't care. We're gonna be gone in a few days. So we gave up on, as long as I'm around, there will never be another stop sign, or another speed limit sign put up. We put them up changing this and that and everything else, and it's not good enough, and they disappear and they tore off, and so we do not spend the money on signs anymore.
So what you're saying, the speed bumps are kind of the same thing?
Kind of, when they lay on the road. And even if we did this intentionally, to leave some of the roads rough around the lakes, to slow them down, they drive faster. So it's a catch-22 thing. It's like, the people that want to drive slow are going to drive slow. That's just how it is. The ones that want to get somewhere. This one lady come at one of our meetings just chewed us out. So the following weekend, we put a sign up on her road, and her husband went by as fast as I'd ever seen anybody go. So he went by and I went like this. And he backed up and he said, what? I said, you guys are the ones that was complaining about it. I got to get to town.
Somebody's always.
So that was the end of that. So yeah, you're in a situation where you don't have the right answer. You never will have the right answer.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious, right? We don't have the right word. It's frustrating. We try to take care of it, a problem. You know, we can only do so much, right?
What if
Yeah.
you put the speed bump in front of the home where we're concerned about the children?
I think that's where they moved them eventually.
At their house?
They're one on each side of that particular house. So,
But again, it doesn't do any good. And that's just it is, I do not want to see somebody get hurt, but I also don't want to have the person who accidentally hits a child because they're not being supervised. Like, that's not fair to put one of us in that position either. Like, it's so easy. You get a little kid in a scooter, you're backing out of a driveway. I mean, it's my worst nightmare. Like, I worry about when my grandkids are up, like, all the time. We had a friend who lost a child that way. Like, I don't want to see that happen. But again, like Terry's saying, there's no great answer.
No. Although, in my mind, it's easier to slow down going 15 miles an hour compared to going 30 or 40. If something occurred and came out, you can stop quicker going 15 than
Yeah.
my 2 cents.
You'll be here for days because you won't.
Yeah, no, yeah, no.
There isn't an
I mean,
answer,
it's-
but
It's
it's all
too
good
bad.
concerns, it's good comments, but
Yeah.
it's just you're
Yeah.
not going to ever have the right answer. So
go ahead, TJ.
If the speed bumps do stick around year to year, obviously they're gonna stick around because they'll winter right anyways. They do stick around going forward. I'd be interested in alternative kinds, if there are ones that are longer and or more like a rubber. Sounds weird, but going over it 16 times a day, because I literally am in and out of the neighborhood 16 times a day.
What are the ones
It's just-
made out of now?
Well, there's a hard plat, it's weird though, it's like when you go, you step on it, you go over with a bike, there's like oh, well, why does it feel like I'm literally going off a weird curve compared to going over some of the speed bumps? I still slow down at this one or like one in a shopping area, but like, yeah, those are asphalt ones, but they're not the big boom, boom, where I'm like, all right, there goes my coffee every time. Curious, because I don't know if we're renting those or if we bought them, but if we do end up with them, I think people still naturally will slow down because there's normally always somebody going one way or the other, right? Or two at the same time. So it naturally does slow them down. I would just like them to be a more comfortable bump.
If there's such a thing.
Yeah, well, and there is, and it's more of a long one. Because this one's so short, I mean, I literally go down to 1 mile an hour to like, get over it, because it's like every time. But they're both scenarios are horrible, right? You got speeders are horrible, and bumps are horrible. Which one's worse? So trying to figure out what kind of compromise, I guess. It'd be nice if they have safety and comfort.
Appreciate the feedback. I don't think any of us were privy to seeing them before we purchased them.
I'm fine with that. I'm saying going forward, if there is I'd be.
I would too. I was envisioning a road-wide bump, number one. Number two, I wasn't envisioning like going over a curb. I mean, that's horrible. So yeah, if we're gonna keep doing the bumps, getting a better bump would definitely be a priority.
But yeah, I see both sides, and it's really a lose-lose. You just I really want to lose and maybe get a win out of it.
Well, I think leave it as you stated, Rich, that, have some type of documentation of concerns and et cetera, and bring them to the meeting.
That's one approach, and the other approach is to go ahead and make a submission on the website. Anything that's submitted on the website, we have to address. That's the best way for us to get about talking about it. You guys, quite frankly, I don't want to hear about the speed bumps when I'm walking around and driving around, people coming up to me, because I know they're there too, and I'm annoyed by a speed bump also. But, we went through the process, we followed the process to get the speed bumps there. We'll have to do the same to remove them. So at this point, if we can show a majority of people that want the speed bumps removed, we'll remove the speed bumps. I think that's where we leave it at this particular point in time. All right. Any other comments?
About the speed bumps or anything?
Well, I'm going to move on to new business. Is there any new business?
I would like to have it put on the website and maybe on the pump house that we will be having our 4th of July parade.
Okay.
July 4th, 1 o'clock, starting.
Are you gonna make a flyer?
Yes, I will,
Okay.
and I'll send that to you, Lynn.
Thank you very much.
And then the flyer, you have access to the pump house pump?
No, I do not.
I think Tina, you're the only one that has a key for that?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So we will let everybody know about that.
And as far as the 2 acres, okay, it was, the rock picking festival was a success. The kids had fun. There was a lot of camaraderie with neighbors, walking and picking and surprising that seeing a little piece of rock turn into something like this once you dug it up. It was, and then we continued on to the park, and some people had been there earlier and picked up sticks and twigs, and so it was a successful day for taking care of our parks.
I noticed, is he going to plant the clover soon, or is it planted?
Yes, he sprayed.
Okay.
And I saw him today come, and he put signs up. Someone said, oh, why can't you go in there? It's like, well, if your dog went in there and ate a weed and got sick because it was sprayed, it was just,
Yeah, so he's going through the
Yeah,
process.
Yeah,
He's
and then, he was up there today, and I'm sure I saw him get out of his truck, he was probably observing if there are any, weeds that were still up or didn't go, and, I was going to call him, and I didn't,
Okay.
to see what his next stage was.
So
But I
he's,
seen the farmer, what is it, tilling or whatever, they go in and,
yep, he's prepping.
yeah, doing his acreage, so I imagine Scott will be doing that soon too, but I'll talk to him,
Okay, I appreciate what he's doing up there.
yeah.
All right.
Oh, and there is a fox in the neighborhood.
I know, thanks.
Is there what? Oh, Jeannie or something. Well, there's several.
Several silver foxes.
But up on Shorewood Drive, I seen a fox, a nice healthy looking fox, nice sized fox go across. And then Wilsey's found a bunny carcass, my bunny, that comes into my yard. He's not been there. And a great big wing. So he is getting well fed and
Or that's
probably,
bobcat, it could be bobcat on the prowl too.
yeah. So
She
anyway,
saw the fox. though.
I
Oh,
saw the
okay,
fox.
yeah.
Where's the fox at?
Bobcat.
He's over at Wilsey's eating supper. But anyway, just for those who have, and I let, a couple of our neighbors who have small, cats out roaming, that just be on the alert that there is something out there that can, take small critters and, well, they eat mice and rats and whatever. So anyway, I'm done.
All right, I did have one other person come up and comment about information, minutes. Still requesting them to go out and email approved or unapproved. I don't know where we left that, but we should continue to post information at the pump house.
I need to update them there, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of his comments, they're from December. He says, if you're not gonna email them, at least keep them updated at the pump house.
They're on the website.
They're on the website.
I know they're on the website, but people don't go to the website.
No.
So we should at least give them the other option of
Yes.
looking at the pump house, that's what that's there for, and that's kind of following suit.
Should we put a sign with our website on it, on the pump house?
We should.
Can you just automatically email everybody every month the website? Just have the-
Well, it could go on the invoices.
It doesn't
Maybe
matter,
go
there's
from
there's
there.
still people that will,
Right.
I still get people that call me every month, and then they call other people every month, and, yeah. So no, it doesn't matter, you'll still have people.
I don't understand, they can look at their email, but they can't hit an extra button to look at the website to find all the information there, so. We should at least post it on the pump house.
Can I want to comment on something, and it
Sure.
only made me think of it because I printed out our Rasmussen bill, and I said something to Matt, I think I texted, or did I text the group the other day, asking about
Mowing?
mowing. And I know that they just mowed, it still looks terrible. And I know that they're a business and they're trying to be as quick as possible. But literally, they have, if you look at that, they have missed, when you drive by tonight, take a look at their mowing job. It's awful. Like, I've never had an issue with Rasmussen in the past. I've always been happy with them, we've never had complaints, but it looks awful. And waiting every 2 weeks, especially now when there's rain. Like, I get it in August when it's hot and dry and nothing's growing, but right now it looks awful.
The
when you
ponds
drive
are
in.
beautiful.
Huh?
I was out the ponds tonight, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like a golf course out there.
Yeah, but like when you look at our middle, like where the pump house is,
Yeah.
that park there, if you look down it, you can see it's like an uneven, there's areas that were like rows that were just completely missed, like it's because they're going, and if you watch how quickly when they unload the mowers, they zip through there as fast as they possibly can because they're a business and they're gone again. But we're paying $1,300, almost $1,400 in 1 month for mowing. And that's only twice a month that they're mowing. Like, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And I know that we'd said that residents could mow, they could sign a waiver to mow in between. But my issue with that is that I, as a resident, think, well, why would I go mow? Like, if I go mow on Sunday, and then they're gonna come back and mow again on Tuesday, and we're gonna get charged, we're still getting charged for it. Like, so it doesn't make sense to say, as a resident, you have the right to, you can go out and mow if you don't like how it looks, you can go out there and mow, but we're still gonna get, if they come 3-4 days later, 5 days later, they're gonna mow again and they're gonna charge us again. So there's just no right answer here, and I just feel like
Well,
how our neighborhood looks has really gone downhill, because, then that's a big part of that.
It's very simple. We'll send a note to ask them to see if they can spend a little bit more time in the Mill Park. I think they did a fine job around the monument side and down that strip. I could notice that looked very clean when it came down. I agree, the park they could probably spend a little bit more time there in the big park area. I don't know what it looks like on the lower park.
Well, right now, with us, we have trusses sitting there.
No, not that part.
Oh, the other one.
The other bigger
Yeah.
part. So they are a business. There's a complaint. I think it's easy just to send them an email and say, hey, can you spend a little bit more extra time on the big park? I mean, that's a simple ask, right?
I'll talk to them.
Yep, just shoot them off an email, say, hey, there's been a complaint, can you spend a little bit more time? And let's just see if we get an improvement. Simple ask.
Thank you.
Yep.
I know when they mowed this time and the previous time, it was first thing in the morning. And like after it rained overnight, so everything's wet, and
Yeah.
which probably doesn't.
I think they've worked with us. We've had complaints before, they've come back and taken care of some stuff, so, I'm sure they'll.
Dean's a good guy. I'll talk to him.
Yep.
He is, I went to school with him. I
Oh,
know
really?
his wife, yeah, he's a super nice
Oh,
guy.
crazy.
It's not that, and I get it, like, it could just be an employee, like because I'm sure they hire young kids or whatever, right?
I know for a fact he's been out there both times. Dean was out there
Yeah,
with them.
yeah,
There was two of them, Dean and somebody else.
yeah.
And it was two different guys the two times they've been this year, but I know Dean's out there.
If it even costs us an extra $50 or $100 for them to spend a little extra time, I don't think anybody would complain about that, so.
To trim or whatever. Because I know he trims around the pump houses. I watch him. He trims the pump houses.
Yeah,
I think it'd cost us quite a bit to trim around all the trees, so.
yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine so, yeah.
So.
Well, I'm sure as many guys that love by here, and zip that, we could have
A trim party?
monthly.
I'm looking for a motion to end this meeting.
First motion.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.